All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the first match of the evening. This is a rating 6R heavyweight bout match, 6 rounds. And I will introduce first, in the black corner, Madiyar Saydrakhimov.
Need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat of the mic. He feels so unlike everybody else, alone, in spite of the fact that some people still think that they know, but no, he knows the code. It's not about the salary, it's all about reality and making some noise, making a story.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the gold corner from Azerbaijan, Ahmad Tank Mustafayev.
It's a tough fight. It's a tough fight for him to take this off. Wait to get up as a heavyweight. And it's a nice, tight, compact arena this one. It's very good weather in Istanbul at the moment. Nice warm day today. Pulling off on the banks of the Bosphorus by the Golden Horn, which is where this immaculate venue is situated. Tail of the tape, you can see quite a significant height difference between the two of them. Saydrakhimov tall and lean. You look at Mustafayev
And now, in the black corner, 27 years old, 190 centimeters, a 1-0 record. 2021 World Championship bronze medalist from Uzbekistan, Madiyar Saydrakhimov!
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing his opponent fighting out of the gold corner. He's 32 years old, standing 176 centimeters tall, weighing in 85.3 kilograms. Tonight, his professional debut. Ladies and gentlemen, representing Baku, Azerbaijan, here is Ahmad Tank Mustafayev. Ladies and gentlemen, this bout sanctioned by Turkish Professional Boxing Federation. Your referee, Judge Nedil Erensoy.
So the referee will now call these two to the centre of the ring. It's an interesting encounter, this, because Mustafayev, as I say, is heavily backed. He's rated, but this is a very difficult fight to take. First up, Saydrakhimov, with that amateur pedigree, a gold at the World Military Games as well, a bronze at the World Championships, a silver at the Asian Championships for Uzbekistan. Lost his place in the team, actually, to Lazizbek Mulajonov, who then went on to do extremely well at the Olympic Games. So they're scheduled for 6. So Mustafayev in the white and Saydrakhimov in the black. Now, physically, Spence, there is a big difference between the pair of them. Saydrakhimov quite tall, quite long, quite lean. Mustafayev is stacked around the shoulders. There's plenty of muscle there.
Yep, Saydrakhimov has that height, has that reach. He's got to use that to his advantage here, because Mustafayev is heavy-handed. You saw that with that lead left hook that he had there. Is a dangerous shot.
Saydrakhimov just trying to take the centre of the ring early on and bring that reach into play if he can. I saw him in Havana last August, where he was in with Julio La Cruz over 10 rounds. Good left hand there from Saydrakhimov, and the referee is going to count because the ropes kept Mustafayev up there. Lead left, and he just caught cold by it.
Yep, he was hurt by that shot. He was definitely hurt by that shot. You saw the legs just buckle a little bit there, and Mustafayev has to be very careful here, because Saydrakhimov is one of those guys that is heavy-handed. Good shot selection.
Just looking to get back onto the jab there, Saydrakhimov. He won't get too carried away with that. We're not even at the halfway point of round one, but you can see those knees buckle, those legs dip. He went into the ropes, and it was the right call by the referee, because if the ropes haven't been there, then he definitely would have gone down. I mentioned that fight against La Cruz that Saydrakhimov had. He went the 10 rounds. He didn't get too much joy. Laying gloves on La Cruz is a difficult thing to do. He was boxing in front of a home crowd in Havana. It was a terrific night. But then more recently, I saw him on the Sergey Kovalev Artur Man card when he was boxing out of the away corner again, like he is tonight, like he was in Havana, and he stopped Andrei Stotsky in the 6th and final round with that one absolutely in the balance. It was a really good fight. Mustafayev just trying to get that left hand away himself.
He's got to be careful here, though, Mustafayev, because he's reckless in his approach. He's coming in, got caught with the right hand again there. He was hurt there, but he's not closing that space enough. He's trying to close the gap with his hands here. He needs to move his feet in range. He also needs to move off the line here, because he's leaving himself wide open, and Saydrakhimov is making him pay for that.
He led off with that left hook, didn't he? He was well short with it. He jumped in from distance, and Saydrakhimov then just pinged him with a right hand, and you could see just a little bit of giving those legs again. A chopping right hand there from Saydrakhimov. Mustafayev, his fists following his feet a little bit there as he steps with those punches into the final 20 seconds of round one, and Saydrakhimov again looks for that left hand. He looks like he's one punch away from putting him down, doesn't he?
He really does. He's landing some good lead lefts, and the right hands are especially effective as well. Saydrakhimov working this round very nicely indeed. Nice and composed, taking his time. Mustafayev, he'll be pleased that bell's come, because he's going to need to change this up right now.
He needs to tighten up. He absolutely does, because he tends to come forward. He is aggressive, but Saydrakhimov has made quite easy work of picking him off as he does come forward, and he's had that count in the opening round as well, so he's lost that first round 10-8, and there's that left hand. It came off the back of a right hand, put him quite high on the head.
Yeah, lovely little shot there in the legs. You see the legs were stiffened up there. Here he's from another angle. Shot landed there, and you saw him stiffen up a little bit. Done well to recover from that shot, because it was a very big shot, but Saydrakhimov done the right thing, kept composed, didn't take any unnecessary chances, because as you can see, Mustafayev is strong. He's very physically strong, and you don't want to give him that opportunity. And I think for Saydrakhimov, it's all about keeping this long and systematically trying to break him down.
And just waiting, I think, for Mustafayev to come barreling forward, which he will do. And when he does that, he does tend to come around a little bit square. He needs to try and stay a bit more compact, get that guard up like he is here. And Saydrakhimov just dips his knees, looks for that long right hand.
Yep, Mustafayev would have had those instructions from the corner, because he's come out a lot tighter. I'd just like to see him moving his head off the line as well. Good left hook there from Mustafayev. Best shot of the contest so far landed by him, but good response by Saydrakhimov.
He aimed an uppercut, didn't he, the fighter in black, and almost landed it. He has to really commit, Mustafayev, when he comes in from the outside like that, because if he gets caught in no man's land, then he's got a big problem. The referee just having a quick chat with Mustafayev about making contact round the back of the head. He's looking for the uppercut again there, Saydrakhimov. It's kind of interesting, that, because you can see why he's looking for it. but he's got to bring his feet close to land it, and that actually suits Mustafayev more.
Absolutely. Mustafayev's one of those guys that's physically very strong. Malta seems to be dropping open a little bit. I'm not sure he's feeling the pace here just a little bit. He's put a lot into those first couple of rounds, but Saydrakhimov, yeah, he's the one that seems to have the boxing IQ, just missed with that uppercut again, but you can see the shot selection there, just trying to change things up, mix it up. Mustafayev coming forward, but no real thought process around what he's doing at the moment. He's allowing Saydrakhimov to tee off at will at the moment. Well, good response there.
Left, throws that right hand, that kind of half got through. Nice little stab to the body there with the left hand though from Saydrakhimov. And again, in rugged, muscular fashion, Mustafayev comes in, and what he's gambling on here really is that he's going to land something on Saydrakhimov and make a dent in him and hurt him, because again there he looks to come forward. Saydrakhimov winds up with a big uppercut.
Yep, there was a shot he was talking about, Andy. He got in range with that one and just landed that shot. Mustafayev took that shot quite well, to be fair, but he has to be careful of that. And there we see that reckless approach again as he runs in, trying to get into range, complaining about the low blow. He shouldn't be putting his hands down like that. The referee hadn't called stop. He was playing with fire there. He could have been quite easily knocked out then, because he's just stood in front of his opponent. Very strange.
He could have been, as you say. The referee hadn't given the instruction to stop boxing, and Saydrakhimov just stood off Mustafayev and kind of allowed him to down tools for a few seconds there when he didn't really have to. He could have just let his hands go. He felt he was hit low. The referee didn't seem to really agree, but then in the end did give him a little bit of time into the final 30 seconds of round 2.
It's been a better round, this one, for Mustafayev. I'm not sure he's done enough to win the round, but it's been a better round for him for sure. It was a bit of a disastrous start, but he's sort of clawed his way back into it. But good finish here from Saydrakhimov.
Just short with a jab there, Mustafayev. And right hand to the body there to finish off the round for Saydrakhimov. 2 down here, 4 to go. This one's scheduled for 6 in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, it's a nice little contest, this one. Saydrakhimov started very well. He had the knockdown in the first round. Mustafayev seemed hurt by that, but come back well and clawed his way back into it a little bit more in that second round after a disastrous start in the first. He'll be pleased with that going back to the corner. Now he has to try and build on that more, but look, he's 3 points behind on my scorecard, and you know, with only being a 6-rounder, at some point he's going to have to roll the dice, take that gamble, but he's got to be a little bit educated, because Mustafayev, for me, is a little bit reckless in his approach, and the boxing IQ is definitely with Saydrakhimov. He's the guy that has the better boxing brain, and he's waiting for Mustafayev to fall in, and he's countering him with good left hooks, good right hands.
So into the third, I would agree that he's a couple of rounds down, and with the knockdown, that means, as Spencer said, a 3-point margin. So he needs to really get on the board in this third round, or he'll find himself down at halfway and needing knockdowns himself. There's certainly no faulting the gameness of him. He looks to come forward and throw, but Saydrakhimov, as Spencer said, has got that better IQ, and really he doesn't have to do that much, Saydrakhimov, does he? He just has to wait for Mustafayev to make his move, because he knows he will.
That's exactly what he's got to do, just hold his ground and then let the shots go after Mustafayev falls short, because what Mustafayev is doing here is he's trying to close that gap with his hands. He's leaving his feet behind, he's leaving himself vulnerable, he's just reaching with the shots a little bit. Saydrakhimov has recognised that, and he's making him pay.
Just looking to try and work behind the jab again there. Saydrakhimov sticks it out to measure the right hand. Hasn't let the right hand go. Does now, but that one's caught pretty much on the glove.
Nice stabbing right hand to the body there from Saydrakhimov as well. Mustafayev keeping those hands up, but needs to be a little bit more creative here. Body shot slammed in as well.
And again, he does offer somebody, Mustafayev, as you see when he gets that guard up. The elbows are flared away from the midriff a touch. Right hand into the body from Mustafayev, who has looked to try and keep things a bit tighter in this round so far as we hit the midway stage. He's looking to take those punches on the gloves, but explode out every now and again.
Yep.
Saydrakhimov can't get complacent here, can he? Because he's stood in range most of the time.
Well, and he got caught with a shot there, just as you said that right on the call there, Andy. Saydrakhimov switched off momentarily, and one thing you can see with Mustafayev is he can whack a little bit, so you can't give him that opportunity. Saydrakhimov is the guy with the height, with the reach, and he just used to use that to his advantage.
Let go with the right hand a few seconds ago. Good left there from Saydrakhimov. I think that maybe just buzzed Mustafayev a little bit. He certainly thought so. You can tell from the reaction of the fighter in black, the way that he seemed energised by that punch, that he felt that it got through a little bit. He maybe just needs to be a bit busier here, Saydrakhimov. He can just keep working that lead left hand, just keep throwing leather and keep his man occupied.
Yep, you're right there. You just feel that if he turned the screw just a little bit more, then Mustafayev may be in a bit more trouble. But he's just allowing him to recover after landing a couple of good shots. He's keeping Mustafayev in the fight at the moment.
Again, goes down to the body, and he said it in the previous round, and I think you're right. I think Mustafayev is...
Big shot, uppercut there, Andy, and he felt that shot landed right on the nose. It seemed to push the nose up there.
Looking to try and just curl that right hand round the back of the guard there. Saydrakhimov just finishing the round nicely. Yep. So the midway point of this one.
Another round in the bank there for Saydrakhimov, who's controlling things quite nicely. Can't afford to switch off. There was moments where he did, and he did get caught for that. But Mustafayev really has a lot to do going into this second half of the contest right now. Saydrakhimov has dominated really from the opening bell, and you just feel that if he turned it up a little bit more, it would ask more questions of Mustafayev. But it's a tough night now for Mustafayev, and he's got to do something totally different here. What he's doing right now is not working. He's walking forward. It's a little bit predictable, one-dimensional. He needs to roll the dice a little bit here.
I make you right, but I do wonder whether he can do that, because this is the first time I've seen him, and he looks like one of these guys where this is how he does it. Yeah,
and that's going to be a huge problem for him going in the second half of this contest. Just seemed to spit the gumshoe out there.
As I said, this is a tough fight to go straight into. This is a debut for him, and Saydrakhimov is a very, very experienced fighter, a good fighter, has operated at a good level, and straight into a six-rounder as well against somebody like him, and he is carrying a lot of muscle on that frame, Mustafayev, and I think he just needs to stay busy here, Saydrakhimov, just keep letting those hands go. He doesn't have to be reckless with it, but just use that jab, use that right hand, keep his man turning and moving, never allowing him to get set, and it'll be hard for Mustafayev, I think, to summon up the gas to be able to do too much about that.
Yep, you're right. It's always going to be difficult for Mustafayev, who landed a good right hand there, but got one back. Look at that, the response from Saydrakhimov. Beautiful straight right hand through the middle. One thing we found out about Mustafayev tonight is he can take a shot, because he's been on the end of some heavy punishment, nose bleeding now as well. Is that going to cause him problems?
It was a right hand from Saydrakhimov, I think, that crashed through the guard, and you can see there's quite a lot of blood coming out at the end of that nose, which never looks great for a fighter, but can cause serious problems. It can affect the breathing. You can end up swallowing blood. It's a very uncomfortable thing, and you can't tell from looking whether there's a fracture there or not, but there's certainly some damage, and he looks fairly exhausted there as he lets that right hand go.
Yeah, he certainly does. He looks like the soul is just being stolen from him right now at the moment. Disheartened look on his face. It's starting to look a bit of a mess now. Blood being wiped all over that, and you just sense that Saydrakhimov fancies this more now. He's in control, pushing forward a little more, and you just wonder what Mustafayev has left right now.
Again, goes with the left hand. That landed pretty much on the belt line there, Saydrakhimov. He's looked for the body every now and again. And Mustafayev is gamely just hanging in there. There's nothing wrong with his minerals, because he is feeling this. He just spits out a big mouthful of blood as we head into the final minute of round 4. And he's just trying to rally here, just trying to get something done.
Yeah, pride keeping in there at the moment, because nothing's gone his way from the opening bell. It's been slowly, systematically getting broken down, and he's feeling the pace of this now. Big uppercut going on the inside there as well.
Followed it with a left hand there, Saydrakhimov, but good right hand there from Mustafayev. Got close, whipped it over the top. You could see the sweat spray off the head there of Saydrakhimov, but he took it absolutely fine, which won't do an enormous amount for Mustafayev's morale. But heading towards the end of round 4. Turning southpaw here, Saydrakhimov. Right hand there from Mustafayev. Crept through a couple of times. That's happened in that round, and Saydrakhimov doesn't want to be getting complacent. IBA President Umar Kremlev watching on from ringside. Plenty of big names around the last couple of days. Not just Spencer Oliver, plenty of other big names as well.
There certainly is. Tyson Fury's in town. Ben Whittaker's here as well. Derek Chisora, you know, David Hay. The list goes on. There's a lot of interest around this IBA boxing and what it's going to bring to the table. Will it bring, you know, will it change the sport at all with the amateurs and the professionals, you know, merging together, you know, somewhat, and the different sanctioning bodies as well? Look, it's very interesting. We was interested to come out here, find out more about it, and yeah, great event, great setup. It's going to be interesting to see what sort of impact it has on the sport of boxing.
Well, the setting for this has been amazing. Watching Jazza Dickens and Albert Badagaziev weigh in yesterday on the banks of the Bosphorus, just down the river from the Golden Horn, one of the most historic settings in modern or ancient Europe. This is one of the ancient cities of the world. So never surprised by the kinds of destinations this sport leads you to. Saydrakhimov just pursuing Mustafayev across the ring a little bit there, and you wonder whether he might just look to try and turn the screw here, because I feel like if he does, there could be a stoppage there for him, an accumulation, overwhelming kind of stoppage, rather than just maybe one single punch.
Yep, Saydrakhimov's been a dominant performance so far, and that would have been the instructions in the corner now. We're into the penultimate round. We're into round 5. Let's start picking it up a little bit now. Let's try and steal the show, because that's what it's all about right now. There's a lot of eyeballs on this, you know, going out live on DAZN, TalkSports Boxing YouTube channel, the people that have turned out here as well. A lot of interest, and these fighters are going to want to impress. They're going to want to be remembered. Oh, good right hand there from Saydrakhimov. Mustafayev took that shot well, but Saydrakhimov senses he's hurt him here.
Backed him up towards the ropes in that black corner, and he's looking to try and walk him down a little bit, then walk straight on to a right hand, and down he goes. And he needed that. Mustafayev takes a big gulp of air, but he maybe just got a little bit complacent there, Saydrakhimov. He felt himself on the end of that right. He didn't go down heavy, but down he went, and this is going to be a 10-8 round the other way for Mustafayev, unless really Saydrakhimov can score a knockdown himself in the remainder of this round. And Mustafayev has worked terrifically hard in this fight. He's never looked once like he's going to throw the towel in. You wouldn't expect that of a pro fighter, but he's got pretty hard pretty quickly, and to see him land something like that, he kind of deserves it in a way.
Yep, Saydrakhimov switched off there, and he paid the price. That was it. What it was, complacency played its part, and Mustafayev now has a glimmer of hope, and he will feel like he wants to push on, sit in that pocket and get those shots off. That's where he needs to be. He needs to meet fire with fire here. Right hand just falls short there, but better work here, better rounding from Mustafayev.
Really is. He got through with another right hand there, worked to the body, and then just flung that one up over the top. A strong right hand from Saydrakhimov gets through. But what he's got to be careful of here, the Uzbek fighter, is just standing in range. We talked about it earlier in the fight. He's brought it to a distance, really, that suits his opponent, because he fancies a stoppage and he wants to let his own hands go. But the way to make sure that this doesn't go disastrously wrong for him now is to keep this long, keep it on the outside and not trade, which is exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, well, sometimes ego plays a part, pride plays a part, and he found himself on the seat of his pants, and he wouldn't have wanted that. He was in a fight that he was in complete control of, switched off, got complacent and paid the price. Now he's got to be careful that he doesn't not stick to the game plan, because that's important right now. Mustafayev will be very pleased walking back to the corner after that 5th round there, taking it 10-8. The first round he's won on our scorecards, and I'm sure the judges as well. It's been quite a convincing performance so far from Saydrakhimov, but Mustafayev now will have that hope round number 6, 6th and final round. He's going to come out there and roll the dice. The instructions in that corner now, you can see they're fired up and they'll be saying, right, let's build on that now, let's go for it. You get the opportunity, you let the shots go. It's all or nothing.
And you just see the knockdown there. He threw the right hand there, Saydrakhimov, missed with it, was caught maybe a little bit square and a bit tall, and he just flung that right hand back there, Mustafayev, and down he went. It was a solid shot, a perfectly legitimate knockdown, and that will give him all the encouragement he needs, because he's got to just give it everything in this final round. I agree that those first 4 plus a knockdown would have gone Saydrakimov's way, that previous round that we've just seen will have gone 10-8 Mustafayev's way, so still with plenty to do unless the judges have found another round for him in there. And Saydrakhimov, keep it on the outside, keep it busy, don't get involved. That would be the advice from the corner, I'm sure. Whether he follows it or not is a different thing.
Yep, that's exactly right, and that's the advice that he should be sticking to. He has the height, has the reach, throw the shots, come off the line. Don't sit in the pocket, because Mustafayev right now, he'll be fancying this.
Looks to let loose with a big haymaker of a right hand there. Mustafayev almost swung himself off his feet throwing it. And again, there looks for that right hand over the top. That's the one that's worked for him, really. He throws it from all angles, but it just curls in over the top of that low lead left of Saydrakhimov, and he's had some joy with it. That chopping down right has been the most effective punch, you would probably say, from Saydrakhimov, and that time he did spin himself in a full 360-degree circle there, Mustafayev throwing that right.
I tell you what, Andy, Saydrakimov's gambling a little bit here, because he's like wanting to close the show here. He's wanting to finish the show on a high, and he's sitting in the pocket and giving Mustafayev that opportunity. It's a dangerous game that he's playing here.
It is, and he's done that from the start. He has done that from the start. It would have been very obvious to him, given how experienced he is, that Mustafayev is one of these guys who kind of shows you very quickly how he's going to do it, and he's not really going to be capable of changing up. But if he just wanted to win this fight 6-0, maybe with a knockdown, no problems, take no risks, he could have done it.
Yeah.
But he's chosen not to do it.
Yeah, he's chosen to not stick to the game plan, I'm sure. Like we said, Saydrakhimov is the guy with a boxing IQ. He has that pedigree. You look at what he's achieved in the amateur ranks, and you can see that by the way he's boxing. He's got great ring awareness, he controls the space very well, but that's the danger. Mustafayev is unpredictable, wild, and we know what can happen when those sort of shots land.
So into the final minute. It's been an entertaining fight, this, it really has, and I give Mustafayev plenty of credit, because he was hit hard and knocked into the ropes early in round 1. It was a pretty terrible start, and you could tell that he felt that punch, he really felt it. Then the nose went in the previous round, and he responded by managing to put his man down. So unless he uncorks something massive in the final 20 seconds, he's not going to get the decision here, but he's played a very, very big part in this fight.
Yep, been a great opening contest, isn't it? Mustafayev has given it everything, feeling the pace now. Body shots seem to go low there. Didn't complain about that one. Saydrakhimov finishing on a high, dominant, finished with a lovely right hand as well.
Well, nothing quite like a good old-fashioned heavyweight ding-dong to get things started. And as we look down at ringside there's Terence Crawford. 3 months out, pretty much, from his mega fight with Canelo. He's taken the time to come over and see everybody, which is much appreciated. Tyson Fury, as Spencer mentioned here as well. David Haye, Johnny Nelson, Barry Jones sitting away to our left-hand side. There's the great and the good of boxing have descended on Istanbul. And they'll have enjoyed that opening fight, because what you want to see when the bell goes in any fight, whatever the level, is 2 fighters give it everything, because you can never ask for more than that, can you? And that's what we got there.
Absolutely, decent opening to the show there with these heavyweights. They put it on the line, they left it in the ring. Both guys were down. Yeah, what a start, brilliant. Saydrakhimov for me winning that one. 58-55. I think the knockdown done him some big favours, giving me a little bit of hope, but you know, credit to him, he kept pushing forward, kept trying, but the better boxing for me come from Saydrakhimov, and runs out a clear winner.
And IBA.PRO was worked really well for Saydrakhimov. I mentioned that fight in Havana against Julio de Cruz. He took that out of the away corner, tough job, 10-rounder, didn't blink, accepted the fight. He got another fight on that Kovalev undercard, again out of the away corner, won the fight in the final round with a stoppage. And again, boxing out of the away corner here. We feel very confident that he's managed to score another win, and I'm sure that he will be back out on one of these cards again soon. Just waiting for the referee to call these two to the middle. Okay, here comes the MC. Just getting those gloves off of Mustafayev. It can take an awfully long time to get those gloves off, particularly if you're tired. He's managed it now. Here he comes to the centre of the ring.
The winner, by a unanimous decision, in the black corner from Uzbekistan, Madiyar Saydrakhimov!
So Saydrakhimov gets it by unanimous decision. I don't think there was any real doubt about that. Round 5 would have gone to Mustafayev 10-8 thanks to the knockdown, but Saydrakhimov had one himself in the opening round and would have won every other round apart from round 5. So good win for him. And again, I tip my hat to Mustafayev because that's the debut. And that was a hard fight to take on debut.
Absolutely. Listen, Mustafayev showed a lot of character in there, that is for sure, because a couple of times in there where it was getting tough. And I know that can dishearten you as a fighter, disillusion you as a fighter, and it's easy to find a different way out there. He was taking a lot of punishment. The knockdown in round 5 gave him that little bit of hope. He went for it in round 6, but just wasn't enough. The better boxing IQ was Saydrakhimov, and he ran out a clear winner. You know, there's a lot to work with Saydrakhimov, that is for sure. He's got the good fundamentals. Boxing IQ looks good, switches off sometimes from time to time, but yeah, I like that. Decent contest to open up what should be a great night of boxing.